Thank you, Dada. Well, Mr. Guy Ryder, I believe he is not here yet. Director General, ILO, Mrs. Josephine Teo, Sister Josephine Teo, Minister for Manpower, Sister Mary Liu, President NTUC, Brother Ng Chi Ming, SecGen NTUC, my biggest arch enemy. Not really, we are good friends. And obviously, many of you may have recognized him, but he's very quiet sitting there. I used to deal a lot with Brother Lim Swee Se, both as a minister and also as the SecGen of NTUC. So, Brother Lim. Of course, ASEAN SecGen, Dato Lim, who has been very patiently listening to all these things that has been happening about our future of work, so he can actually make sure that we do more in terms of driving ASEAN. I'm also having a vested interest in ASEAN because I'm actually today the co-chair of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council. And all ASEAN brothers and sisters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The report of the Global Commission on the Future of Work has identified 3 pillars for action. These are to increase investments in people's capabilities, in the institution of work, and in decent and sustainable work. The key to this is business sustainability to drive economic growth. Without sustainable growth, the future of work will be bleak. According to Fortune magazine, of the 500 companies in this 1955 list, 446 had either gone bankrupt, ceased to exist, or have been acquired by 2018. In other words, 90% has disappeared, and 54 or a mere 10% remain. Another study by Credit Suisse found that the average age of a S&P 500 company was 60 years old in the 50s and less than 20 years old in 2012. So businesses, regardless of how big or how established they are, can become irrelevant in times of change and disruptions. On the other hand, changing demographics, such as the aging workforce and longer lifespans, means that on average, workers have to work longer, perhaps for 40 to 50 years, much longer than the average lifespan of companies that you see. So this dichotomy poses immense challenges for business and employment sustainability. So how can businesses be sustainable? Businesses must adapt to technological disruption and competitive pressures which require them to refocus, restructure, and transform. According to BCG, Boston Consulting Group, transformation is most effective when it is done preemptively. Successful management will transform their companies again and again to cope with faster and more profound disruptions. Businesses must not wait for threats or crises to emerge to begin transforming. At the same time, employers have to train and retrain their workforce many times to support business transformation. To do so, employers have to engage, communicate, and motivate workers to help them to adjust and embrace technology and workplace changes. The video that we see this morning, shown by our minister this morning, about PSA, actually demonstrated that no one is too old to learn new skills, and I encourage employers to support their employees in reskilling and upskilling. Workers, on their part, must be agile and resilient or be left behind. Government could perhaps provide more funding, to support employers and workers. Big initiatives in the training side, I think I will leave it to my brother, Sekjen Ng Chi Meng, later on to elaborate. And that is coming up, which is good both for employers as well as employees or workers, so that we could actually take this to the next lap as efficiently as we can. The bottom line for business sustainability and growth is to raise productivity and stay competitive. Hence, I was surprised. Welcome, brother Guy. You just come on time. The bottom line for business sustainability and growth is to raise productivity and stay competitive. But I was surprised that in the 6-page executive summary of the Commission's report, the word productivity appears only once, and as an afterthought. This morning, the aging workforce challenge was mentioned, as it has implication on sustaining growth. Countries with an aging workforce, like Singapore, cannot rely on manpower growth to fuel its growth. Hence, raising productivity is the only way for businesses to stay competitive and sustain growth. Higher productivity will provide businesses and government with the financial resources to continue to invest in people, create higher value jobs, pay better wages, and improve standards of living. It is only with productivity growth that businesses will be able to share the gains with workers. The Commission's report concludes that we must seize the opportunities to create a brighter future and deliver economic security, equal opportunity, and social justice, and ultimately reinforce the fabric of our societies. Interestingly, 30 years ago in 1988, Singapore's founding Prime Minister, the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, said, and I quote, "Productivity is the factor that will most determine our future. If we succeed in achieving a higher productivity growth rate, we shall get more and higher quality investments. This will determine the kind of jobs that we have, the salary that we will earn, and the annual increases we can expect. In short, productivity growth will determine the kind of society we will become," unquote. Productivity and a fair, inclusive society require the collective effort of employers, the government, and the labor movement. The ILO, as a tripartite organization, is in an excellent position to take this lead. I therefore look forward to the recommendation of tomorrow's workshop amongst the ASEAN tripartite partners to move the future of work agenda forward. Finally, I wish ILO happy 100th anniversary and success in shaping the future of work. And I trust all of you also enjoyed the very, very heavy but exciting conference that you just had an experience. And I hope that you do not end here. Make sure that you go out and also understand and enjoy Singapore, especially our jewel. You know, the new jewel is very, very nice. Spend some money, help us in the economy. And also, maybe take a look at our garden by the bay, which is something that also very, very exciting. And most important, enjoy yourself and come back more often to Singapore. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yap.